Good morning, everybody. So to be able to, we're holding on page 24. We're going to try to finish this Maamar. The Rabbi says we need to have the aspect of bittul kosis lamur, that to be able to amur, to be able to shine, to be able not to shine, to be able to reach the mu'ur, which is the essence. That you have to have kosis, which is a concept of bittul, which is the concept of self-nullification. So the Rabbi says the ability to reach this level of bittul comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. You should command the Jewish people. Moshe Rabbeinu needs to command the Jewish people. The Rabbi explains this based on the pasuk quoted earlier. And you, Moshe, shall command the Jewish people, the children of Israel. In addition to the meaning command, the word tzaveh can also interpret the meaning connect. And you shall connect. Related to the Aramaic word tzavsa v'chibur, meaning connection. Based on this interpretation, the pasuk would read, and you, Moshe, shall connect the children of Israel with the essence of godliness. So Moshe Rabbeinu is called the Raya Mehemni, is called the faithful shepherd. So in addition to referring to Moshe Rabbeinu himself, the Zohar explains that this also refers to the continuation of Moshe in every generation, which in addition to referring to the Rebbe also refers to the spark of Moshe that exists in every Jew, as the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya. So the Zohar says that the spark of Moshe Rabbeinu in all the leaders of every generation. In every generation, there is the Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation. And then the Alter Rebbe comes and says, actually, that there's a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu, not only in the leaders, there's a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu in every single Jew. Every single Jew has a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu. He has a spark of Moshe. So the Alter Rebbe says that although achieving fear of Hashem is a tremendous level, says Moshe Rabbeinu, what is the Eibishter? What is God looking for you? Kim liyira, God is looking for you to be fear Him. So the Gemara says, what do you mean? Is fear of God an easy thing? And the Gemara answers, in legabi Moshe. In comparison to Moshe Rabbeinu, fear is something that could be accomplished. So the Alter Rebbe says, what does the Gemara answer? The Gemara's question is fear an easy thing? And the answer is by Moshe Rabbeinu. But what about the rest of the Jews? Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to the Jewish nation. And the Alter Rebbe says that Moshe Rabbeinu, there's a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu in every single Jew. And this spark of Moshe Rabbeinu that's in every Jew gives the capability for every Jew to be able to reach up to the level of fear of God. It's considered a small task with regard to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu within every single Jew. So every single Jew has within him a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu. And this spark of Moshe Rabbeinu gives him the capability to reach up to the level of fear, the level of fear that he needs, as the Alter Rebbe says.
Rabbi?
Yeah.
I was studying yesterday at Dvar Torah, and this word, shekacha, Ashream shekacha lo,
yeah,
is exactly what he's saying. Is the same gematria as Moshe.
Wow.
So Hashem is referring to Moshe. His sparks on the Baal Shuvah.
Very nice.
Exactly what he's saying.
So Rebbe explains the function of the spark of Moshe Rabbeinu to every single Jew. Rebbe continues and starts to explain what is this spark. So Rebbe said the spark of Moshe connects the source of the Jew's soul, the essence of his soul, to the lower level of the soul, which are expressed through the physical body. So we explained, we taught in Chassidus, Kabbalah, that every soul has 5 levels. We have 5 levels: Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. The 5 levels to the soul. So most of us are in touch with the lowest levels of our Neshama. How do we have the capability to feel the highest levels of the Neshama? So that's why it says you need to try to cleave to the essence of your neshama, this capability to be able to once in a while or to be able to, as the Rebbe is going to say, to the lower levels of the soul, which are expressed through the physical body, and to the animal soul, the body itself, and the portion of the physical world, which a Jew interacts with, it is this connection to the essence of his soul, which gives the Jew ability to be broken, to reach to the source of light of the essence of God. So why did God, in essence, give a concept of 5 levels of the soul? Why couldn't there be one level of the soul? Why is there 5 levels? So that we would have to be able to, if we can touch, or if we have a moment of inspiration from our essence of our soul, from our Yechidah Shebenefesh, the oneness of the soul, which if you learn Chassidus, you should have it every day in davening. Yechidah Shebenefesh is the Shemona Esrei. If you can have the oneness of the soul in the Shemona Esrei, then in the Shemona Esrei you will be able to touch your Yechidah Shebenefesh. That will be able to give you bittul. That's why on Shemona Esrei you're standing before the Eibishter in total bittul. You're standing before God in total bittul. But your journey starts in the beginning of davening. Your journey starts by Birchas HaShachar, and you journey through davening slowly but surely. If I daven correctly, I can be able to journey through davening and ultimately reach the essence of my neshama. Ultimately reach the essence of my soul, which is bittul, and I come to God on Shemona Esrei. I'm batal. I say Hashem svasrei tiftach ofiyaga to the sech. I can't speak. I say God should open my mouth. So when a Jew is connected, it's funny. So that you find the Chassidus that when it comes to Shemona Esrei, which is bittul, you ask God for your basic needs. Varechaleinu, rifa'enu, slach lanu. You would think that the essence of the soul, why would you asking God for your basic needs? So the whole davening, you're not asking God. You're praising God. You Shema Yisrael, you unity with God. And then when it comes bittul, Yechidah Shebenefesh, over there you're going to ask God for your basic needs. Because that's the point. In the essence of the soul, that's where you want to ask God for your needs. That's where you want to ask the Eibishter for your basic needs, for health and money. Because that's when you ask God, when you're bottle, you're asking for the right thing. When you have your self-ego, you might be asking for the wrong reasons. But when you're bottle, when you're at the level of bittul, that's when you can ask the Eibishter even for your base needs. Because then you're asking the Eibishter for Gashmis for the right reason. Not for selfish reasons, but for the reason of the neshama. The purpose in neshama, your true essence in neshama cannot accomplish its elevation but through Gashmis. So that's what you're asking Gashmis for the physical parts of life. That you're going to be able to use it out for inyanim ruchnim, for spiritual things. So when a Jew is connected to the essence of his soul, he's able to sense the severity of the descent of the soul must go through in order to come to the coarse physical world. So now we'll realize, why would the Eibishter send down a neshama to this world? Why would God send down a neshama, a godly entity, to this physical world, to this coarse and physical world? Why would he do that for? There has to be a higher purpose. I can understand why the body came down to the world, because the body enjoys the world. But why would the neshama, why would God send down a godly soul to this world? Why would it be the purpose of the neshama coming down to the world? So therefore you must say that there's a greater purpose, even not only for the body to come down to the world, there's a greater purpose in the neshama to come down to the world. And the only way I can realize this purpose is if I feel the neshama. If I only feel my body, so then I'm only doing the body's purpose in the world. If I can feel my neshama, now I can maybe realize the pain of the neshama to come down to the world. And if it's a painful reason, there must be a very important reason the neshama came to the world. Because it's a painful thing for the neshama to come down to the body. Why would God force the neshama into this body for only reason of pain. Doesn't make any sense. Why would God take a neshama lekis, a godly soul, which is a chelik elakam and mamish, and put him into this body only for pain reason, only to give pain to the soul? There's got to be something for the gain for the neshama. And if I don't feel my neshama, I'll never do its gain. I will never give this neshama its purpose. So then, if I can do that, now I feel the pain of the neshama, I feel the pain of the soul. That the soul has come down into the world, not for painful reasons, but actually for a reason of elevation. So now I'm going to do the purpose of the neshama, why the neshama came down to this world. So even if the physical world would be a perfect state, it will still be referred to as a deep pit. The Gemara says the soul descends from a high roof into a deep pit. So even if I'm a perfect person, even if I'm a tzaddik, there's still a concept of this neshama needs to come down into this guf, into this physical world. So therefore, the very fact that the soul is present in the physical world means that it's experiencing a tremendous descent. Why would the neshama come down and say, man, I have to have rachmanas, I'm in a neshama that came down in this tremendous descent? So even if the soul is in a situation where it has both material and spiritual abundance, let's say you say the neshama is having a very spiritual abundance. He's learning Torah, he's doing mitzvahs, he's pashit. It's like Gan Eden here. This abundance is giving insignificance when it compared to the true state of the soul before it descends to the world. But if you imagine what the neshama came from, all the abundance that it has in this world is not a comparison to the neshama lamaila, because the neshama is a inyan ruchni. The neshama is a spiritual thing, and there's no greater spirituality lamaila as in lamata. There's no greater spirituality above in Gan Eden, way above. The neshama is above. So the true state of the soul before descending to the world, when it describes the son of the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He. So when a Jew, let's skip to the editor's note, when a Jew, page 26, when a Jew becomes sensitive to the spark of Moshe within him, and he realizes who he truly is and what he's capable of, this causes him to be completely broken. The ultimate state of bittul, and enables him to connect to the essence of godliness. So bittul is to realize what is true bittul. True bittul is to realize what my potential is. If I realize what my potential is, then I realize how low I am. That's why King David Shlomo Melech says, "Achakma v'yidachokin memeni." David Shlomo Melech says, "I've received wisdom, but I realize how far I am from wisdom." So when a person realizes how far he is, what his potential could be, and what he is, so even if he's a tzaddik, that's why ain't tzaddik ba'aretz asher lo yechta. The Alter Rebbe says, the verse says, statement says, there's no tzaddik that doesn't do a sin, because a tzaddik realizes what he could do, and in comparison to what he could do, he's sinning. So the tzaddik feels like he's sinning. That's what David HaMelech says, "V'chatasi negdi samit." My sin is always in front of me. Because David HaMelech realized, David HaMelech was a tzaddik, but David HaMelech realized what he could be. And what he could be in this world, it's only a potential. Even a tzaddik, it's only a potential. Even Moshe Rabbeinu didn't accomplish what he could have done. Didn't go to Etzol. He could have done it, but he didn't do it. And therefore, he felt he was, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu was a none of. Because Moshe Rabbeinu Taka felt his nefesh alakis. Moshe Rabbeinu felt all the levels of his neshama. And he realized that his potential was much greater than he was. So I'll ask comment to each and every one of us that realizes that if we would realize the potential of our neshama, how much we could have been, what we could have been, and what is holding us back from our potential. What are all the negative things this body and all its negative character traits that are holding me back from my potential. That should give him bittul. That should give him humility. That should give every Jew humility. That's the meaning of the spark of Moshe. So the spark of Moshe Rabbeinu, in essence, tells every Yid, I know you're great, but you could be greater. Don't be so egotistical. Don't be so arrogant, even if you are a great person, because that's not your potential. Your potential could even be greater. And therefore have bittul. To be able to reach real greatness, you have to have bittul. You have to have humility. That's what the Mishnah says. A person runs after honor, honor will run away from him. A person that runs away from honor, honor runs after him. Because a person that realizes, why do I need to have honor? Who am I that needs to have honor? What do you think? Why does anybody thinks that he deserves any honor? Only about Gaiva thinks he deserves honor. Any kind of honor. An arrogant person thinks he deserves honor. Even a tzaddik doesn't demand honor. Why? Because why nobody deserves any honor. The only one who deserves honor is the Eibishter. But everybody else doesn't deserve any honor. Shouldn't want to deserve any honor. Shouldn't want any kind of honor in this world. So based on the above, if he runs after honor, he'll never reach his nefesh, his true essence of his neshama, his true essence of his soul. He's running only after his lowly physical body.
Rabbi, if it's bad for us to feel honor, I agree. Why Hashem put this sensation here?
That's your Yetzer Hara. That's keeping you back. That's why your Yetzer Hara. That's why my Yetzer Hara keeps me back.
Because you feel good when someone honors you.
That's right. Good. That's right. So your Yetzer Hara says good. I made you feel good, and that's it. Now you don't. You got your stick a little honor. You got your little 15 minutes of fame. So it made you happy. But that's not happiness. That's your nefesh Bahamas trying to fool you into thinking that this is what life, that this is what my little honor that I'm going to get over here or over there, that's going to make me that's mashla me. That completes me. That's my nefesh Bahamas. If my godly soul says that's honor, that's not honor. And the only honor is to serve the Eibishter. That's my honor. Nothing else is my honor. The more I can serve God, the greater honor I have. That's true bittul. That's humility. We make a mistake when we think kosis, crush, means you have to break yourself. We think, that you need to you fast. You need to hurt yourself. You need to no. Kosis, bittul, humility, humbleness means not that I need to be embarrassed by somebody to be humble, or I need to put myself down to be humble. No, I need to realize what I could be to be humble. That's the way Chassidus looks at humility. Humility is not that I feel like a nothing. No, I feel how much I could be. That's what gives me my humility. So therefore, if I see what I could be, I realize what I'm now is far from what I could be. So how great I think I'm right now, it's nothing in comparison to what I could be. So therefore I'm humble. It's humility of the greatness. It's not the humility of lowness. The humility of lowness brings a person down, makes a person negative. Oh, I'm nothing. What happens if a person feels like he's nothing? So then if he feels like he's nothing, he can do everything because I'm nothing. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. Rabbi, I'm a bad person. I'm not a holy Jew. So something that sounds like that's the humility. The Gemara says that humility is not a good humility. That's Yetzer Hara humility. Humility, true humility is that I say I am low because I could be great. So humility comes from greatness, not from lowness. A person should never say I'm low. How can you be low? You're ben matal Hashem lekechem. You're a child of the Eibishter. You're a child of God. How can you be nothing? I'm nothing because since I'm a child of God and I could be sitting on the table of God and I'm not there. That's why I'm nothing. So it's humility out of greatness. It's a big different point. It's a whole different concept of humility than humility out of, I'm a nothing. Nobody is a humility out of nothing. That's when you become a Baal Gaiva. That's when you become a Baal Gaiva when you think you're nothing. That's why you're poor. You're this. I'm nothing. I'm not a knacker. I'm not getting honor. I'm getting crushed. I'm getting stepped on. People are pushing me around. That's not humility. Humility is I don't need anything. I don't deserve anything. I'm nothing because I could have been a great guy. I could be greater. So therefore, I'm bottle. I'm humble. I don't deserve any honor because I'm not so great. I could be greater. I could be greater. And look at I'm not the Zalman Bukiet. I could be. That is true humility. That's true bittul. The Rabbi says, based on the basic explanation above, we're now able to understand why the Jews were able to completely accept the Torah at the time of the Purim. So even though the Jews were a very high spiritual level, and were even given the ability to completely accept the Torah at the time of the giving of the Torah, so the Jewish people were totally on a high level. The Jews were unable to actually accomplish this complete acceptance, because they had not yet achieved the spiritual level through their own efforts. The problem was that everything was given to them until that time. All the miracles and everything that they received before Matan Torah was not their work. That's what we say on Pesach. V'ata oyim ve'eya. You were naked. I took you out of Egypt, and you were naked.
No merits.
No merits. You had no mitzvahs. You were naked. You taka great people. You went through a lot of tzaddis. But you were naked. You were naked. So why? So then the Eibishter, that's why we say Ata b'chartanu. God chose the Jewish nation at going out of Egypt. He chose them, not because they were different than anybody else. They had nothing. The Egyptians and the Yidden were almost equally the same. So it says the seed didn't want to split because they are Egyptians. They look like the same. Why should I split before the Jews if the Jews look like Egyptians?
Why Hashem chose us?
That's free choice. You can't give a reason to why He chose us. Then there's not that choice. The second you give a reason to choice, it's not a choice anymore. Choice is there's no reason.
Which way naked, Rabbi?
What? Naked of mitzvahs, no mitzvahs. The Jews were no mitzvahs. They were not given the Torah yet. So choice needs to be something that doesn't have a reason. The second there's a reason, it's not choice. Why do I drink? Why do I like vanilla ice cream? Because I like it better. There's a reason.
That's all.
What? Yeah.
That's all.
Right. So there has to be free will. It means there's no reason. It's above reason. Ata b'chartanu, the Eibishter chose the Jewish people because it came from a place that's higher than reason. It came from the Atmos, the essence of God. So therefore, since the Torah and their spiritual level was imposed upon them from above, this overwhelming revelation of godliness didn't give them the opportunity to incorporate the Torah into themselves, and they existed as individuals in the physical world. And that's why we understand this week's Parsha, that how after Matan Torah, 40 days later, the Jewish people made the golden calf. After receiving the Torah, they were the highest level of the Jewish nation at that time, and they made a golden calf. How is it possible? And it's possible because it was pushed upon them. It was forced upon them. And they didn't receive it from themselves. They received it as a gift. So compare this to analogy of the Rebbe Rashab. At the time of the giving the Torah, the Jews are still in their father's place, and we're making a living for themselves, and weren't making a living for themselves. So they were like in their father's home. It's like a child in his father's home and doesn't know what it means to go make a living. Doesn't know what it means to go out into the world and make a parnasa. Right? The child goes out now. Itaka takes all the qualities of the parents, and he goes now and makes a parnasa. But before that, he doesn't know what it means to make a parnasa. He's sitting at the father's table. Right? He can act like a big knacker, but he all his food and everything is his roof over his head is coming from his parents. Right? However, the time of Purim was the opposite. Both the spiritual and material situation presented a challenge to the fulfillment of the Torah mitzvahs. At the most basic level, Jewish life was extremely difficult, and the very existence of Jewish people was under attack. Because of this environment, didn't provide external factors that motivated the Jews to remain dedicated to the Torah mitzvahs. The Jews needed to look within themselves to complete the acceptance that they started at the time of the giving of the Torah. So therefore, what happened was that Purim, we just left Purim affected by the Jews that they accepted upon themselves by themselves. Not they were forced. They were actually being pushed from the other side that they shouldn't do it. They were not forced to do it. They were decreed upon them not to follow the Torah. You could say the same thing today. We are being our nefesh habahamis is forcing us not to do the Torah. Right? It's easier not to do the Torah. Right? Even though today you can do everything you want, but it's easier not to do it. Right? And we can find good reasons not to do it. Right? We can find all good reasons. And we have all the external outer forces that try to impress on us not to do Torah mitzvahs. Right? As much as beautiful it is, the seemingly the force, the more easier it is, the seemingly a force, the opposite. It's the way it is. So why does a Jew do Torah mitzvah today? Because he wants to do it. He doesn't have to do it. Nobody's forcing him to do it. It's easier not to do it. Cheaper. Easier.
This is a choice?
Yeah, because you have a force both ways. It's easy to Torah mitzvah today, but we have the other side saying it's easier not to do it. Nobody's gonna condemn you. Nobody's gonna threaten you. Why are you doing Torah mitzvah today? So you're doing it so that Yidden in Persia also they had also at one time beauty, glory, and then suddenly a force of negativity. Every generation went through the same situation. Today we're going through the force of negativity is a loving force of negativity. It's enclosed in love. Right? It's not enclosed in the dictatorship. The Haman today is a different kind of Haman. It's much harder Haman than the Haman of a guy who wants to kill you. It's a Haman, a guy who says, "Come, I want to love you.
Let's be one.
Let's be one." Why do you need to be like that? You can be Jewish and not do all that. You can. We love you. Let me hug you, and that's a hard thing to overcome. When you have somebody, when you have the other entity who's pressing upon you the aspect of love. So you shouldn't think that this is an easy thing. This is an easy gullus. People think, oh, we're not like our grandfathers that were oppressed by the Russians. We were oppressed by this. We were oppressed by that. Today we're oppressed also. We're oppressed in a loving way, which can be much more worse than oppressed in a negative way. We see Jews respond when it comes to a negative way. We automatically become more powerful when it comes negative. When it comes loving, we fall apart. We give in to the loving. We don't give in to the oppression. So what's a greater gullus? The loving gullus might be greater, might be a harder thing to overcome than the oppression gullus. And therefore we have free choice. You have total free choice. As a Jew in the world today, you have total free choice to be whatever you want to be. A Baal Tshuva doesn't become Baal Tshuva today because somebody forced him to become Baal Tshuva. He came because he wanted to come himself. We reached this level. So the acceptance that they started at the time of the giving of the Torah, Mordechai, the Moshe generation, enabled the Jews to accomplish this complete acceptance, eternal commitment, by connecting them to the essence of the soul, enabling them to be truly recognize the essential internal connection they have to the Torah. The analogy that Rebbe Rashab would parallel the king's son achieving his true potential by going out of the world and supporting himself and his father through his own work. That's the beauty. So the beauty is when a father is not jealous, when his son can outrun him, so to say, can do better than him, right? Ultimately, when the son can support the father, right? One day, you might have to do that, right? The child will have to support the father. Friends, so that's a yid today. A yid today does Torah mitzvahs because he loves the Eibishter, because he chose on himself. In addition to the fact that they did this on their own, there was also an advantage and a quality of their service in Hashem. So when a Jew is only able to reach the essence of the godless, the source of light, when he's crushed through gullahs, this can either be literally crushing by physical oppression, the time of Purim, or the spiritual crushing, when Jews realize that he hasn't reached his own potential and is still in a personal gullus. This feeling was impossible when Jews were given the Torah, as their spiritual level was not a result of their own effort, which is therefore didn't allow them to be broken to their current standard. As explained above, when Jews realized that despite his tremendous achievements, Hashem gives him the ability to reach incomparable higher than his current level. He will be completely broken when he recognizes the inadequacy of his current state. So you imagine when a Jew today, who has everything he wants, the Gashmius Uberuchnis, God gives him every capability he wants, and he's not doing his potential. That should give him true bittul. That he could be, today in the world today, you can America, you're a free world, you can be anything you want to be. You can accomplish anything you want to accomplish, but you're not accomplishing it. You're not because there's an outside force fighting with you, not because you're being crushed by anybody. It's simply because of myself. That I'm not accomplishing something that I could be. Imagine on a Yiddishkeit in general point that we're not all accomplishing Yidden, 5 million Jews in America are not being all they can be. Not because there's a rush, there's a communism, not because because themselves. That is too lazy.
It's the same sensation as Gehinnom. You've seen in front what you couldn't be, but now you can't.
Right. But we're not looking for that. We're looking to awaken up our soul. So that every Jew should wake up and realize they could be better. The Eibishter gave them all their needs. God gave you all your needs, spiritually and physically. You just got to do it. And why are you not doing it? Because of this, because of that. Not because of real reasons. Selfish reasons. So the Gemara says, if anyone says, I have tried and I have succeeded, believe him. That's the only reason. A person that says, I've tried and I didn't succeed, don't believe him. Because if anybody, today in the world that we live in, if anybody would try, he would succeed. He would succeed. There's nothing stopping him. If anybody would try to be a tzaddik today, he could succeed. No, who's stopping you? Who is stopping any person from becoming a righteous individual today? Nobody, besides myself. So there you have free choice. That's true free choice. I can be a tzaddik today, and I can be a non-tzaddik today. Nobody in either way is gonna condemn me or elude me. The word that the Gemara uses for succeed is matzasa. Literally translated is I have found. When somebody finds something This implies that he simply found something which wasn't proportional to the amount of work that he did. That's the true concept of succeeding. Succeeding is not that I get what I need. Succeeding is that I get something that I wouldn't imagine that I would have ever gotten before. And that's the beauty of your gaita. The Eivisha says, if you would have Yegiya, if I would have Yegiya, if I would just try, I would find above and beyond my potential. I would find above and beyond what I think I could do. Because what I think I could do is nothing to my potential. And the only thing I need to do to reach higher than what I think I can do is only to try. Yagaiti, that's the promise of the Mishnah. The promise of the Mishnah is that the Eibush says, do some Yegiya. Today that I do Yegiya, that I try, is my free choice. I can say I'm happy with what I have. No, try. The Eibush says, try a little better. If I try a little more, you're going to reach up to Matzos, you'll find something. Not that you're going to try and you'll receive. It says if you'll try, you will find. Find means I'm going to find something more than I would ever receive. I'm going to find something, a metzia. I'm going to find something I would never even receive. That's the beauty. So when somebody finds something, it implies he simply found something which wasn't proportional to any amount of work that he did. Similarly, when a Jew uses all his energy to serve Hashem, Hashem helps him find an infinitely higher level than he could have reached on his own. That is, so I should not work on doing something what my Avodah can reach. No, I should try harder, and I'll find something that's above my potential. Beautiful. And that's all. Have a wonderful Shabbos and a wonderful